Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, and as promised / threatened in my AliExpress top 10 recommendations video from the weekend, welcome today to a brief review of the latest military chronograph by PAGANI. Technically they call this the S206070, but I shall call it the Solar Military Chronograph because that's this one's USP. It has a Seiko Epson solar movement in it, and that's exactly why I wanted to review it. Now, you saw the pop-up. This watch was sent to me by PAGANI. I do not have to send it back. I asked them to send me it because I was really keen to have a look at it. I think PAGANI are one of the top 3 or 4 brands on AliExpress. The pick of their range for me anyway has always been their military chronographs. I looked at first their Type A and then their Type B, and I have recommended both of them to you without reservation on several previous occasions. Is this solar version worthy of that recommendation? Indeed, could it be their best watch yet? Let's flip the camera and find out. Alright, let's get into it, but before I even open the box, let's talk about your favourite subject and mine, money. Price on this one during a sale just under 140 US dollars. Not a massive discount, to be honest. They're normally about 150 US dollars. So if you're watching this video in 2 months time and there isn't a sale on, it's only going to cost you 10 bucks more. You're still better buying during a sale, but it's not a huge difference. And the packaging experience is all very neat, very well resolved considering the price tag. Little kind of coffin enclosure here. PU leather pouch, and an envelope full of goodies containing a bit of an AliExpress rarity, that being a stamped and dated warranty card. You don't get them quite as often as you should. PAGANI polishing cloth, instruction manual, of course we treat that with impunity, and you get a little branded spring bar removal tool as a bonus. Most importantly of all though, you get a very, very nicely resolved solar military chronograph. So as you may well already have known, or if not, as you just found out in the intro, PAGANI have now made a number of these mid-century Dirty Dozen-esque military style chronographs. I think they do a fantastic job on them. I don't think there's anything else that can touch them for the money. You're looking at about 1,000 US dollars if you want to get something from Hamilton or a similarly upscale brand. These do pretty much all that the Hamiltons do for a fraction of the cost. The twist here is that this one features a Seiko Epson solar quartz chronograph. Very similar set of dimensions to the others though, those being 39mm in diameter, 12.3mm thick with a 46.5 lug to lug. 20mm between the lugs as supplied on this very pleasant vintage style cross-stitch leather strap. This one weighs in at 64 grams. 100 meters of water resistance, screw down crown and screw down chrono pushers, and the movement, well, I hinted it was a Seiko Epson, specifically it's a VS71. It's a sterile stainless steel screw-on case back on this one, no spec sheet, no brand logo, no nothing. I guess you have to expect a few compromises when you're paying less than 150 bucks. However, it's very comfortable and, let's be honest, because it's solar, you will never be taking the case back off unless you have an inquisitive mind and just want to have a look at the thing. I have an inquisitive mind. So I'll take the case back off so you don't have to. There it is, an Epson VS71A in all its glory, advertising that rechargeable cell. Kind of basic operations with this one, nothing too fancy, and it has now what are the usual solar parameters of plus or minus 20 seconds per month average accuracy. Now they do say that is when worn, so you might deviate a little but you shouldn't be too far off those specs, and 6 months of charge when that little rechargeable cell is fully loaded. Let's unscrew the crown. Now it pops, it's a distinct pop, pull it out to the first position and roll it forwards, and we will adjust the date complication down there at the 3 o'clock. If I pull it out to the second position, the movement hacks the small second down there at the 6. It's a 60-minute chrono timer up there at the 12. That stops moving and you can adjust the time. If I screw the crown back in and then unscrew the 2 pushers, it has a similar kind of 5-tick chronograph arrangement, central chronograph hand, like a lot of the Seiko Mecha quartzes. So you'll see that very slender needle chronograph hand ticking 5 times per second. A pusher to start, A pusher to stop. You can then restart and then stop. You can also time kind of lapse with this one if you want to do a kind of cumulative time. You press the B pusher, press the B pusher again and it will catch up. Press A pusher to stop, B pusher to reset, slow reset back to 12. That's your lot, folks. Case finish is very, very simple. No chamfers, no high polish anywhere. It is all brushed. Mid-century military style watch, that is exactly what you want. And it's a lovely, lovely piece of glass like all of the other Baltonies that I've looked at. Double dome sapphire with anti-reflective. Look, in my studio lights, you can still get a decent read of the hands and the indices at all angles. Very, very good for the money. As are these crown and double pusher arrangements, knurled, nice and easy to grip, and as I said, all screw down, helping with water resistance. Just remember to screw those back in once you finish using the chrono, or it might not quite get 100 meters. And it's an excellent leather strap for the money, vintage style cross stitching. You can see I found my hole there. I got a decent fit with this one, no problem at all. I've got a 7-inch wrist, therefore you should be okay all the way up to about an 8-inch wrist before you're looking for a NATO or something else to give you a bit of extra length. Nice hardware as well, all brushed again to match the head of the watch, Baltony branded. Only complaint about the strap is no quick release spring bars, but again, like I said about the case back, you can expect compromises at this price. Alright, dial and hands. Now, if you want this solar movement specifically, then this is your only choice of dial configuration at the moment from the Baltony range. I would describe this one as a Type B dial because it has 5, 10, 20, 25 prominent minute displays there in Arabics rather than 1, 2, 4, 5 like you would associate with a Type A style dial, which has large hour markers in Arabics. If you prefer the Type A style, don't worry, Baltony have got you covered. Indeed, I'll show you what they offer before this video is through. This one, a little bit of Fotina here. The minute markers, those big 5, 10, etc. are printed in white, but there's a little Fotina on those rectangles at the 3, 6 and 9, the single batons there, double baton at 12, and smaller rectangles on the hour markers all the way around. It's a recessed chronograph register at the 12 and a recessed small minute indicator at the 6, as previously discussed, and a deeply recessed date complication there at the 3 o'clock. Printed minute track around the outer edge, 1/5 of a minute marker there as well. Simply branded, just Baltony with chronograph over on the other side balancing it out. Now if Baltony hadn't put their logo on it, another 100 brands could have put their logo on it instead. There's nothing new here, it's all very generic, but then again, that's exactly how it should be given the style of watch that this one is mimicking. It is, however, all nicely done, all crisply printed, and all rather well spaced out and balanced. Moving on to the loom, perhaps there was a bit of a giveaway. The crisp white Arabic numerals and the Fotinaed batons. We have bi-coloured loom here. So C3 old radium style on the hands and those major indices. BGW9 on those Arabic numerals, and it looks great initially. However, if I turn the speed up, it kind of fades across the board. There's still a little bit there at the end of my 20-minute test, which I always say is about 4 to 5 hours of human eye equivalent, but it could be better. I guess, again, I'm referring to the price. It's not bad at all considering it costs less than $150. And it wears really nicely, decent lug to lug at 46.5, very comfortable, very soft, straight out of the box leather strap. Pretty slim at 12.2mm thick as well, and a good size. I've got a 7-inch wrist. Normally I say chronos look better in 41. I always think that's the kind of general sweet spot for a chrono. These mid-century military style ones tend to be a bit smaller, generally floating around the 38. The fact that this one is a 39 though, I think means it hits the bell curve right in the middle. Overhead legibility is pretty good, particularly those Arabic numerals. They really do pop, the crisp white against that dark grey / black dial. The main hour minute hand though, could they perhaps be a little bit larger? Yes, I think they could be segueing neatly into the moans and niggle section. Allow me to bring in the aforementioned Type A here. This is my I think it's the 25033. I've had this for a couple of years. I really rate it. This was the first Baltony that I bought and I think it's fantastic. Look at how different the hands are. Similar in tone, but these ones are much broader and I think much easier to read as well. I already talked about the differences in the Arabic numerals. You know, you're going to have to accept that if you want the solar movement, but I reckon they could have put bigger hands on this one for sure. And then there's the date complication. It really is deep set into the dial and bloody small to begin with. Now, perhaps you've noticed in my videos, if it's a 3 o'clock date, I always set the date to 3. Single digits are still relatively legible. Double digits, though, add another whole level of difficulty because the digits themselves are so much smaller. Solar quartz with a date, loads of utility, but yeah, the date's bloody tiny. So to answer the two questions then that I asked in the intro, do I recommend this one? Absolutely. For $150 or less, it's still a really solid option. It's well made, fabulous piece of crystal, reliable, big brand Japanese auto, and a strap you can wear straight out of the box. Is it their best ever watch? Well, I guess it depends what you want. If you love solar, if you've got a big solar quartz heavy collection, if that's your style, then by all means go for it. Likewise, if you need a date complication on all of your watches and can read one that small, also go for it. Me personally, I think I'll be sticking with the one I have. I'm not desperate about solar. I can swap the battery in this one myself every 3 years as required. And I think the dial on this one is just a little bit cleaner and a little bit more legible. So, recommended, but not the best. So there you have it, another really solid offering by Baltony, and it's great to see AliExpress brands branching out and using unorthodox movements like this one. Do I recommend it? Unreservedly, absolutely. Is it their best model? Well, it's up to you really, but I still prefer the Type A. Well done for making it all the way to the end. Believe me, not many people do. While you're here, not check out my full review of the Type A or the Type B. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you again in the next one.